Is Drake Maye closer than we think? Some interesting news coming out of Foxborough today. We'll break it down here on Patscast.
Drake on the field, stepping up his game. Coach belief, gonna carve his name. Pats cash shouting.
Welcome to Patscast. I'm Brad Whitaker. Visit expressvpn.com/Patscast to get 3 months off of a 12-month annual plan. Again, that is expressvpn.com/Patscast. Very interesting news coming out of Gillette Stadium today with Gerard Mayo's press conference. There were reports coming late last night saying that Drake Maye was getting substantial reps at Patriots practice for early regular season for being a backup, and those reports were confirmed earlier today by Gerard Mayo that Drake Maye is getting 30% of the reps in Patriots practice. And Mayo said, quote, "That's definitely accurate. It's no secret. We have a quarterback in the wings that needs to continue to develop. Normally, it's the starter gets, let's say, 95% of the reps and the backup doesn't. With this, a little bit different, and we had a conversation. I guess the struggle is, how do you get your starting quarterback prepared for the game and also continue to develop the guy in the background, which is Drake?" And so it is like a 70-30 split. You're right on the head. And we were very thoughtful, and we talked about we have a development plan for Drake. That's part of it, and I try not to get too deep into what the plan actually looks like, but he still takes reps with the starters. He does a good job on the show team as well, and he's doing a good job, and you can see his confidence continues to grow. And again, Gerard Mayo saying way too much to the media, which is good for me. I really like it, but it couldn't be more opposite of Bill Belichick. But look, I've been somewhat critical of Gerard Mayo throughout the offseason, throughout training camp, because of his so-called players-friendly, open approach. I thought that might lead to the players getting a little bit soft, a little less disciplined than we saw in the last 20-plus years under Bill Belichick, but that really has not been the case. And with Gerard Mayo building up Drake Maye the way he's doing and giving him increased reps, I mean, he's getting more first-team reps now than he did during training camp when it was a so-called quarterback competition, even though in reality it was not a QB competition. But Drake Maye is now slowly building up. We'll see if those reps continue, but this is the exact approach that I outlined on the podcast a couple of weeks ago on what I think Gerard Mayo should be doing with Drake Maye, because when all's said and done, Jacoby Brissett doesn't really need a ton of reps. I mean, he's been in the league for a while now. He knows what he's seeing out there. Really, the reps he needs to get are mental reps with the playbook to prepare for the game plan on Sunday. That's what's most important. So you put Drake Maye out there 30% of the time, let him to continue to develop, maybe move it up to 40%, move it up to 50%, and then he's ready to go. And this means that he's probably a lot closer to playing than we think. And yeah, I know Jacoby Brissett was solid last Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, but it wasn't off the page amazing. He went 15 of 25 for 121 yards and had 32 yards on the ground. Like that's nothing special. They primarily ran the football all game. He didn't make many mistakes. He threw a near pick in the end zone, which would have been seen as a massive mistake. And we might be having a different conversation right now if Hunter Henry didn't suddenly switch the defense on Sunday against Cincinnati. But a lot went right in that game for the Patriots. And we know right now, under their current philosophy with essentially a veteran backup quarterback, a bridge quarterback as their starter right now, emphasizing the running game, implementing this hybrid West Coast style offense where they're mixing in wide zone with duo and power run schemes and all of that. They have such a small margin for error, and they're going to need to open up the passing game a lot more if they want to win football games, and they're going to need to open up the passing game a lot more if they want to win this Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks, because that defense is no joke. Their head coach is the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. We know they're going to probably stack the box and take the run away from the Patriots. But that was something Gerard Mayo also acknowledged this week. He basically said, hey, if they're going to stack the box, we're going to throw the football. If they're not going to, we're going to run the football. Again, saying way too much to the media, as Gerard Mayo often does, but that is the approach you need to take. And he also is really stressing that he wants his players to know, like, we're going to put a game plan together week to week, but you have to be able to switch up that game plan in the middle of the first quarter if it's not working out. He wants his players to continue to understand, like, hey, if the defense throws this at us, we're going to take this approach. If they throw that at us, we're going to take this approach. And that's how he's ultimately approaching. It's very similar to what Bill Belichick did. And that's what I think I'm most impressed with how Gerard Mayo has handled being the head coach so far, is that he's a nice coach. He's friendly with his players. He takes input from his players, which Bill Belichick rarely did. But he's still working them hard. He's still having them run the hill, run laps. They're better conditioned than just about any team in the NFL because they had such a tough, full contact, padded training camp. And that's really going to pay dividends in this early part of the season where people think the Patriots are going to struggle. Well, hey, they won week 1 against a Bengals team that clearly was not ready to start the regular season. And I think Gerard Mayo has to continue this approach and slowly get Drake Maye in there because, like I said, you're not going to be able to avoid making mistakes like they did this past Sunday, when even if they made mistakes, it didn't lead to turnovers. Some of those plays would probably lead to turnovers against a defense like the Seattle Seahawks that we're going to see this coming Sunday. So I'm really hoping that we continue to see Drake Maye get more reps out there, and that, we may see him by the time October comes around. Hell, we may see him by week 5 when they're at home against the Miami Dolphins, because as we saw last night, this is not the Miami Dolphins team we were expecting. And I know they always struggle against the Buffalo Bills, but Tua went down. Who knows if we'll see him the rest of the season or if we'll ever see Tua again. You really feel for the guy with all of his concussion issues. But that opens up an opportunity to give Drake Maye his first start, week 5 against the Dolphins, where it can really be a confidence-building game, and he can build on the reps that he's doing right now and eventually go out there as the starter. Because with Jacoby Brissett out there, you know what you're getting. You know that they're going to have to run the football a lot. He missed a number of reads last Sunday, as Gerard Mayo acknowledged this week. There were players that were open. I've watched some film that I've seen on X where I'm like, all right, you have Demario Douglas wide open on a quick slant right in front of you, and you're not throwing it to him, and he's trying to extend plays with his legs where he could hit the receiver right away. I'd like to think Drake Maye would be able to make those reads, especially with how quickly he was able to go through his progressions during the preseason. But it's going to be an interesting matchup for the Patriots. They really have a chance at starting this season 2-0 and potentially 3-0 with the struggles that we saw with the New York Jets on Monday night. And then you're off and running. And then you can probably afford to lose to San Francisco. But even that game might be wide open because the San Francisco 49ers, Kyle Shanahan was talking today that they may put Christian McCaffrey on the IR, which means he will miss week 4 at home against the New England Patriots. And, I know they have a pretty good rookie running back out there, and the San Francisco 49ers looked incredible on Monday, as they often do at the start of the season, but they continue to play the way they are doing. We know the Patriots, I think, have one of the better defenses in the NFL. Keon White has stepped right in Matthew Judon's role without skipping a beat. He frankly looked better than Matthew Judon, who's aging at this point. And that defense, the defensive backs out there, Christian Gonzalez, on the plays that he was covering Jamar Chase, essentially shut him down. I think Jamar Chase had like 60-something yards, but it was like 16 yards against Christian Gonzalez. The best player, though, at defensive back last Sunday was not Christian Gonzalez. It was Jonathan Jones, who PFF ranked as one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL in week 1. So, yeah, I'm not worried about the defense, and I think they're going to do pretty well against Geno Smith at quarterback, who the Patriots always feasted on when he was with the New York Jets. Now, I think Geno Smith is in a much better situation now than he was in New York. It's a pretty good story there, but the Patriots haven't played him in a number of years now, so that's going to be interesting, but I do think the defense, they match up very well with Seattle, and we don't know if Kenneth Walker is going to be out there at running back, so that means Charbonnet, or I think that's his name, their backup running back, he's going to be the guy out there, so that gives them another opportunity. The offense, they're just going to have to open up the passing game more if Seattle stacks the box, and Jacoby Brissett's going to have to make those reads. But you got Drake Maye in the wings, and I think he's going to be ready to go. I was the one arguing that he should have started week 1 just because he was the better quarterback at the end of training camp, but he's getting all these extended reps for a backup. He's still doing all the virtual reality training so he can see what real live reps might look like virtually. And I think Drake's going to be ready to go. I'd like to see Drake Maye a little bit more involved on the sideline. I was at the game last Sunday, and yeah, he had an earpiece in, and he was watching the game, but he wasn't very engaged. He wasn't really hanging out next to Alex Van Pelt or talking with Jacoby Brissett between series. He was just kind of standing around and talking to players. So I really hope to see Drake Maye a little bit more involved out there, especially now because he's seeing what the week-to-week looks like in the NFL, what the game planning looks like, how you approach. He's going to see how you approach a short week next week because they're only going to have a few days to prepare for the New York Jets on Thursday Night Football. It's good experience for Drake Maye to sit behind Jacoby Brissett right now and take it all in like a sponge before he's ready to finally go out there. But you'd like to see him get a little bit more involved because he is one snap away from being on that field. And as we saw with Justin Herbert and Tyrod Taylor in week 2 of Herbert's rookie year, Tyrod went down right away, and then it was Justin Herbert's job the rest of the way. So that could happen. We could see Jacoby Brissett go down early week 2, and then now you have Drake Maye out there, and that's a big reason why I think Gerard Mayo is giving him these extended reps, which, again, I don't think Jacoby Brissett really needs. He's been in the league for a while. He knows what he's doing out there. But it's not even that Drake is just like getting second-team reps. Like, he's getting first-team reps, and he's with the scouting team as well. So he's having to emulate Geno Smith this week at Patriots practices. But really, really exciting news here to see that the Patriots haven't just reverted Drake Maye to the backup role. They're still giving him increased reps in practice, and they're treating this as an extended version of training camp. Remember, Drake Maye didn't even start getting real first-team reps until the last week or so of training camp. So he's still learning. He's still figuring it out. And when he finally gets in there, he's going to see defenses and disguises that he never saw in college, and he certainly didn't see in the preseason, which is really just dumbed-down football. So that's what's good about having him sit right now, even though I wasn't an advocate for it. Now he's seeing what those disguises might look like defensively, and he's going to know how to adjust based on how Jacoby Brissett is adjusting. And Brissett's pretty good at those pre-snap adjustments, getting the players in and out of the huddle, and getting the football out quickly. And hopefully Drake Maye can pick up right where he left off when he eventually takes over. But going to be fascinating on Sunday. I think the Patriots have a real shot to win this game. We'll be back here at Pat's Cast to cover it right after the game ends. You're not going to want to miss it. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Like this video, hit that notification bell, or subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and we'll see you Sunday afternoon.
Young Drake on the field, stepping up his game. Coach belief, gonna carve his name. That's cash shouting, hear the fans all cheer. Quarterback rising, future's bout near. Practice is getting real on like a cannon. Defense scrambling, gotta change the plan. Man, pass cash rumbling through the airwaves loud. Rookies time coming, gonna make them proud. Mayday, Mayday's taking flight. Pass cash tackles through the night. Mayday, Mayday, ready to shine. Young Drake Maye's movement divine. Passing that torch in the cold New England, feel that scorch. Pat's cast blazing, boys in deep debate. Will the rookie show? Can't hardly wait. Pressure building, but it's cool as ice. Steps in the huddle, words sharp like a knife. Pat's cast buzzing, heart starting to race. End zone's calling, getting ready to chase. Mayday, Mayday's taking flight. Pat's cast tackles through the night. Mayday, Mayday, ready to shine. Young Drake Maye. zone's calling, getting ready to chase. Mayday, Mayday's taking flight. Pass, cast, tackles through the